What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Girl Who Talks Sports, the podcast where we talk sports and other girly things. I am Sam Cardona, and thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. We have a jam-packed episode, so I will make this very, very quick. We had Andy Hopper of the Brew Party podcast on this week. You know him. We all know Andy. He's been on the show many times. I think he's my most frequent guest. We always have a blast. We do some Thanksgiving stuff towards the end of the episode. It is very fun. So I'll just do my quick plugs, guys. Social media. Twitter is TGWTS Podcast. Instagram and TikTok is The Girl Who Talks Sports. Please subscribe on all podcasting platforms, wherever it is that you get your podcast from. And please make sure to check out the YouTube channel. We are about 30 subscribers away from 200, so it would be really awesome to get to that before the end of the NFL season. So make sure to subscribe and give the video a thumbs up if you are listening or watching on the YouTube video. And before we get into the episode, once again, I'm telling you guys about Team Clicks sunglasses. That's CLIX. You guys can go to teamclicks.com/TGWTS to support our show, buy some really awesome sunglasses. Again, if you guys have missed it in the past, Team Clicks is a really great way to support your team, to rep your team. I currently have the Buffalo Bills arms on my Team Clicks sunglasses because I was at the Bills-Jets game last week. They were a hit. It was great. I felt awesome being able to wear sunglasses that weren't just regular sunglasses, but they were repping the team that I was rooting for. And if you want to root for more than one team, they are very easy to remove from the lens, and you can buy separate arms to represent different teams of different sports. So make sure to do that. If you guys just go to teamclicks.com, you can use code TGWTS at checkout to support the show. Again, holiday season is here, my friends. I know Thanksgiving is coming up, but if you guys are looking for a very unique gift for the sports lover in your life, please make sure to check out Team Clicks. And without further ado, let's get into our interview with Andy Hopper. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. We have a lot of things to discuss. NFL Week 11 was something special. It was insane, but here we have our guest, probably the most appeared guest on this show, Andy Hopper of the Brew Party podcast, my pal who is always there when I need him to come on the show. Andy, thanks so much for coming on this week.
Sam, it's always a pleasure. I always love being on the show. Like I said, before we started, just pull me off the bench. I am the show's sixth man. Whenever you need me, I am there. Most appeared. I am honored by that, actually. It's incredible. First time on the show this season, I think, ready to break down this wild Week 11 that we just saw yesterday.
Yeah, we have a lot of things to go over, but before we do that, Andy, please let everyone know where they can find the Brew Party and any other projects that you work on.
Yeah, feels like I'm just doing a million things at the moment, but my main show is the Brew Party podcast. So we'd like to have a couple cold ones, have a good time, talk sports. We give out some gambling picks for each weekend. I'm not going to say they're good gambling picks, but they are picks. So you can find that wherever you get your podcast. It's just search the Brew Party. We're on Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. Or you can just go to www.thebrewparty.com. It's got links to, you can just listen to all the episodes right there. Or it's got links to all of our social media, like a YouTube, stuff like that. So you can find us on YouTube, trying to get those subscribers up, trying to get up to 100 subs. So we are youtube.com/The Brew Party. We're on Facebook at The Brew Party Podcast. We are on Twitter and Instagram at The Brew Party. And then I'm also a part of a college football show with our friend Tom Scavetta and our friend Brian McCardle called From the Stands College Football. It's a weekly college game day show where we recap the past week's action, preview the biggest games, and throw some fun segments in as well for each week. Find that just at From the Stands US on Twitter or search us on YouTube, From the Stands College Football Show. And then also brand new podcast alert. I'm sorry, this is the last one. If you are a fan of conspiracy theories, wild, wacky things, myths, legends, stuff like that, check out my new podcast with a few of my buddies called Edging the Truth. So we are 3 episodes deep so far, or we've recorded 3 episodes, 2 episodes released. We've done ghosts. We've done Bigfoot. The 3rd episode releasing, I believe this coming Friday, will be about aliens. We've got demons coming up. So it's really fun. We're diving into these conspiracy theories, these myths, what have you. Kind of a roundtable discussion with me and 3 other guys. So my friend One Lung, he does actually have one lung. That is why that's his name. My friend Brian Shenanigan and our friend Dave, or we like to call him Red Raspus. But yeah, so it's just 4 dudes shooting the shit, probably a little stoned, a little drunk, and just diving into this shit, figuring this shit out. So find that on all social medias at Edging the Truth, and then wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube at Edging the Truth. Sorry, that is all I have to plug. But yes, let's talk some football, Sam.
I mean, it's always great to have that much stuff going on. You know, you got to be able to plug it all.
Yeah,
and I love
balancing 3 shows, a job, a child, and one on the way. So just very chaotic life. that is,
Andy's about to be a father of 2.
Yeah, so if you don't like any of my takes today, don't say anything. Father 2.
Father of 2. Yeah. And also, guys, if you haven't listened to Edging the Truth yet, it is super fun. I am a big fan because I love that kind of stuff. It is super, super good. So anyway, let's get into NFL Week 11. And we're going to start off with a couple of upsets, because there was a lot of games that happened yesterday that I was completely and utterly just flabbergasted by the entire thing. We're going to go over 3. We're going to do Bills, Titans, and the Packers. So we'll start with the Bills, which is kind of sad for me because I am this like secondary Bills fan. They are the one red, white, and blue New York team that doesn't cause me an immense amount of pain. But they did yesterday. They lost to the Colts, and I honestly did not think that they were going to. They did not look the best, and to be fair, they lost to the Jags too, but then they came back and beat the Jets. So they've been very up and down lately. So Andy, what are you feeling about the Bills? Do you think like they are actually this like Super Bowl team that everybody is, and by everybody I mean me, that had been going on and on about all this, or are they kind of like this team that's just kind of winning and then they decrease and up and down? Like what's going on?
I still believe that this team can win the Super Bowl, and I don't know if that speaks to how good I think this team is, because I do think they're a good football team. They obviously have some things to fix, like that offensive line is not helping him. They don't have any resemblance of a run game at all. They need a legit number 1 running back that will really take some of this pressure off Josh Allen, because I genuinely feel like he is trying to do too much, but I feel like he feels like he has to. And just kind of making these wild plays. Like we saw these 2 interceptions that just didn't seem like him on bad throws. And they didn't just lose to the Colts. They got shit pumped by the Colts. They gave up 5 total touchdowns to Jonathan Taylor, 32 carries for 185 yards. So if you're looking at this as a Bills fan, obviously that Jaguars game, you kind of try to just throw that out. Just like, oh, we just weren't there.
Sure.
You know, we mentally, we didn't want it. We were overlooking them. Then you come back and you just beat the shit out of the Jets, which you were in the building for that. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
And I don't know really what to think about this game, especially because they were at home. This was in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think we were not giving the Colts enough credit. I think they would have a little bit better record than 6-5 if it wasn't for those 2 overtime losses, and we could be talking about a much different team here. But I think this game just proved the Colts are a lot better than people think, and the Bills obviously have a lot of problems defensively, and protecting Josh Allen. So I still think they're a Super Bowl contender, because if you look at the league, like they're not the only heavy favorite that lost this week. Well, I guess they were 7-point favorites. It's not super heavy, but they're not the only team that got upset this week. They're not the only team that's been upset so far this season.
Right.
So I think they're still alive. They're still a contender, but there are definitely some things to be worried about if you are a Buffalo Bills fan, a part of Bills Mafia.
Yeah, they need to learn how to be consistent. Like they are so up and down, and we've even seen them in the playoffs do the same thing. You know, they like come out and like just win a game, and then they like just start like super super good, and then it's like then they lose a game, and it's like wasn't even like how did you guys even get in the playoffs to begin with? So it's rough, and I think Josh Allen is also that I've always said that he panics in the playoffs. I also think he gets really excited in the regular season and then they just lose because he gets so excited. Like it's
Mhm.
just the whole Bills loss to the Jags was something that I definitely thought was like they went in there weren't expect. Same with the Steelers week 1, you know, like they weren't really expecting
Just
them to be that good and they
they just
lost.
overlooked them. Yeah.
So, and that's
Uh,
what happened. But I thought that they were going to go on a win streak after the loss to the Jags. I mean, I saw them perform in MetLife against the Jets, and I was like, oh, yeah, they're back. They're fine. They're going to go on another 5-game win streak and then lose
right.
another random game. And that's just what's going to happen. But I don't know. The thing is, the Colts, I think I have been like kind of like underwhelming the Colts, mostly because I just don't think Carson Wentz is as good of a quarterback as everyone says he is. But to be fair, Jonathan Taylor's on that team, so I would still stand by that. Like,
I
I
mean, it
mean, the
helps when you have the now arguably the best running back in the league. But I mean,
5 touchdowns.
just pound the rock. If Derrick Henry's not playing right now, I would say Jonathan Taylor is the most physically imposing running back in the NFL.
I think
So
that's fair.
you just keep the ball out of Carson Wentz's hands and hope he doesn't make any mistakes. Why? I cheer for a lot of teams. If the only thing they can do is run the ball, and I mean the Colts can pass. They're not bad. It's just, yeah. I mean, anytime you get 5 touchdowns out of your starting running back, you're definitely doing something right. But if you
Mhm.
look at who the Bills like have coming up, like their schedule is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Saints on Thanksgiving, Patriots, Buccaneers, Panthers, Patriots again in the year with the Falcons and the Jets. You'd assume those are 2 wins, but their next 5 games, that's a pretty rough stretch. So I think we'll really find out what the Buffalo Bills are made of these next, I would even say 3 weeks with the Saints, the Patriots, and the Buccaneers all in a row, with 2 of those being road games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now after the Patriots win, they're in first place in the NFC East, which everybody was talking about the Bills just running away with this division all year. Now they've got a little bit of work to do. I mean, I know the Patriots have played one more game than the Bills, so that we'll see when that evens out. But still, you got to be a little nervous in Buffalo, a little
Yeah.
bit.
The Patriots just started winning left and right. And I was like, God, this sucks. I don't want to see them win. I don't want to
No,
see Mac Jones succeed. Well, I mean, that's
horrible.
mean because I don't really know Mac Jones like that, but I don't like him. But to be fair, I think that the Bills definitely need to step up and they definitely need to get right. You said they're playing the Patriots twice. They haven't even played the Patriots yet.
Yeah,
So
they
they
play
have
the
to at least
Patriots at
get
home,
one win
and
over
then
the
they have to go there.
Patriots.
Yep.
That's really important. And like, who knows? Maybe the Jets pull out a Hail Mary win at the end of the season. Joe Flacco's in the mix now. I don't anything can happen. That's what this NFL season has really taught me. Literally anything is possible. And I think that just is a good transition to go into the next game, which is the Titans and the Texans. I would have never in a million years picked the Texans to win this game. Rod Taylor came back, did the beautiful leaping over the people touchdown, just incredible. And the Titans, to be fair, have been going through a significant amount of things, but Ryan Tannehill threw 4 interceptions today. I mean, yesterday. It just was not good. So what were your thoughts on the Texans Titans game?
Ryan Tannehill was bad. I think that's case in
Yeah.
point. Like anytime you throw 4 interceptions, you're not going to win the game unless like all other facets of your football team are playing perfectly. And they were not. The Titans defense couldn't stop Houston. And it's not like Tyrod Taylor put up gaudy numbers. He was 14 for 24 with 107 yards and they put up 22 points and that was enough. I mean, I think it comes down to the 4 turnovers. If you don't take care of the ball, especially in the NFL, you're not going to win football games. We can talk about how he was missing, obviously, Derrick Henry and, AJ Brown left the game early, I think with a hand injury, no
Mhm.
Julio Jones. So sure, he does not have, his top 3 weapons that he's used to. But you're talking about a Houston team that had lost 8 games in a row. The only team they had beat on the year was, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you're talking about a Titans team that had won 6 straight and beat some of the teams that we had all considered it was to be the best in the league.
Right.
So if you're a Titans fan, I don't think you get too worked up about this one. I know it's a divisional game, but this kind of just felt like a letdown spot where it's kind of like how we talked about with the Bills and the Jaguars earlier. I think they just overlooked them. I think they just weren't thinking about it. They're probably thinking about next week, which, let me look. They play the Patriots next week. So that makes perfect sense. So this definitely feels like a trap game, as degenerate gamblers like to call it. Yeah, I think it was a look ahead game for the Titans. They weren't thinking about the Texans. They probably came in thinking, oh, we're just going to beat the shit out of them and then on to the Patriots. So good on the Texans for winning. I don't think you're as worried about this. I know that sounds crazy to say if you're a Titans fan, even though you just lost to a 2-8 ball club, just because they've been playing really good football up until this point. It hasn't been like the Bills where it's been, 3 weeks of what's going on here.
Yeah. No, I think you're completely right. And I know that they had, like you said, no Julio Jones, no Henry, AJ Brown went out. Bud Dupree was also out of this game. And they held AP to 40 yards. The run game was non-existent. And Tannehill threw 4 interceptions. It just, nothing was good. And I think even like there was a lull in this game where it was just in and out, 3 and out, 3 and out for both sides of the ball. And it just was, but at the end there, the Texans were more apt to win this game. It's just kind of how it happened. And I honestly, to be fair too, I know that like AJ Brown was talking about everything that he was going through last year with his mental state and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm sure that must have also been something that was on his mind, maybe on the team's mind. But I don't know if I wrote this down incorrectly or not, but this is the Texans' first score on the road, I think. I feel like I wrote that down, but I feel like that might not be right. But it's apparently their first touchdown on the road. Maybe they've scored touchdowns at home. But
okay,
I don't know if I'm incorrect or not. I don't know.
No,
maybe
I don't think so. I think that's wrong, because I think they scored Tyrod Taylor scored a touchdown when they played at Cleveland in week 2.
Okay. All right. So I just made that up and just wrote it down and was just...
I loved it. I would have believed you. I absolutely would have believed you.
Well, then we'll just go with it. Maybe it was like their first score on the road since week 2. That probably was what it was. Since week 2, if that's what you're saying. Tyrod Taylor.
I think so. No, that's right. I think that's right.
Since week 2?
Yeah. That's what it is, because I'm looking at all their scores right now. So when they played, they beat the Jaguars 37-21. That was at home. They lost to the Browns 31-21 on the road. They lost to the Panthers at home 24-9. They lost to the Bills on the road 40-0. They lost to the Patriots at home 25-22. They lost to the Colts on the road 31-3. The Cardinals on the road 31-5. The Rams at home 38-22. The Dolphins on the road 17-9. And they beat the Titans 22-13. So yeah, that was their first away touchdown since week 2. That's what it was. Yeah. So you were partly right. We're gonna give you almost there for that one. Talk it up.
The only thing that I'm thinking about in terms of the Titans, while they are a good football team, they also lost to the Jets.
Yeah, you have to look at their losses, which just don't make any sense. We're going to go ahead and lose to 2 of the worst 3 teams in the NFL, but then we'll turn around and beat the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs, and the Saints, and whoever else. Football does not make any sense.
No,
any sense at all. I don't know. I still think the Titans are, in this race. Obviously, they are going to have to keep winning games. I think they still have like a 2-game lead on Indianapolis for the division title. So they're really going to have like some type of weird collapse here to like even lose the division title. They are a playoff team. The question really becomes is how healthy can they get? Do they get a Julio Jones back? can AJ Brown like get rid of these nagging injuries? This isn't the first game that he has left early. It's the second or third at least where he has had an injury at mid game and had to leave. He's had games that he's missed altogether. So the Titans really need to get fully healthy, and they will be pretty scary. I mean, it's pretty scary to even think that they sit at 8-4 with their offensive guys, their big weapons looking the way they do right now. Obviously, Mike Vrabel is one of the biggest football guys in the league, and of course of that next man up mentality. That's why they went out and got Adrian Peterson. That's why they went out and got Devonta Foreman as well. But they're going to have some receivers step up as well. If you have all pro caliber guys like Julio Jones and AJ Brown watching from the sideline. So I guess the biggest concern for the Titans is health, is how do we stumble through the rest of the season and kind of try to make it out all in one piece, or can we really get fully healthy? And do we get Derrick Henry back? Is there any chance of that at all? So, I mean, they're still in a good spot. They're still in first place in their division by, I think 2 games.
Sounds right.
I think 2 games, because they're 8-4 and the Colts are 6-5. So I'm not a math guy, but yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, they're 8-3. And the Colts are 6-5. Okay. So you were right. Yes, 2 games.
2 games. Look at me.
Look at us just winging. We're just throwing stuff out into the universe and seeing what sticks.
Yeah. Have you ever watched my show before?
Yeah. But yeah, it's just so funny to say like they like completely bodied the Rams on Sunday Night Football, and then they just lost miserably.
It just doesn't make sense. And the Rams are like, because they didn't play this week. That's why I mean, I'm sure you've talked about this on past shows, but like, what the hell is up with them as well?
No idea. Honestly, the Rams are just, I feel like they're on a bit of a decline now, despite getting all these different people and superstars or whatever. But OBJ didn't do anything last time I checked, and it's just lost Robert Woods. It seems very strange. Very, very strange.
I don't know why people are. I feel like we got to pump the brakes on expecting Odell to come out his first week in this offense and just like light it up. Like let's give him a couple weeks to kind of get acclimated with the offense, get a rapport with, Matthew Stafford. But it was funny how like all the shots of just the sad shots of Odell and Von Miller they got on the sidelines being like, we got traded here for this shit. It's 1 week, boys. Just calm down. But yeah, very weird. I know you had another team you wanted to talk about. So
yeah, the last upset we have here is actually probably something that made you feel really good, and that was the Packers that lost to the Vikings, which is very interesting. I thought that the Packers were going to win it after I saw them start coming back. I think there was an interception in like the 2-minute warning. So like, I was like, give the ball to Aaron. Everything's good. And then by the time I checked back in with that, it was like, oh yeah, no, the Vikings won on a field goal because I guess they figured out you shouldn't give Aaron Rodgers the ball with 2 minutes left in the game because that's the stupidest thing that you can do. But they won 34-31 and they ran the clock down. And I know Aaron Rodgers was also dealing with a toe injury that apparently put him in an immense amount of pain. And he's happy that they have a bye. I think they have a bye next week and that he'll kind of have the opportunity to nurse it a little bit. But what were you feeling in terms of this game? Because it is divisional and your Bears are in that division.
Well, this for me, honestly, I think this was the game of the week. If you were able to catch any of this, like it was constant scores. I mean, a 34-31 final. It comes down. It really truly was is whoever has the ball last is winning this game. And you look at the quarterback performances. I mean, Rodgers, with his COVID of the toe or whatever the fuck he's got, 23 for 33, 385 yards and 4 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins, 24 for 35, 341 and 3 touchdowns of his own. So they were dueling quarterback battle. Kirk Cousins had like multiple, like just fuck it, I'm going to throw this ball up, and Justin Jefferson's just going to somehow find it. Like just throws like touchdown throws, which worked. That was electric. Then you had Rodgers just like hold my dick, throwing his deep balls to Devontae Adams, who's somehow just open out of nowhere. Marquez Valdez-Scantling was good for his 1 or 2 deep balls a game. It was a great football game. It was just back-to-back scores. What it means for the North, though, I mean, you look at this, Minnesota has been I'm going to say underwhelming this year.
Sure.
This definitely was, I think you could say this was their biggest win so far. They have had a couple, like I mentioned with the Colts earlier, if we're talking about a team that wins these 2 overtime games instead of dropping them. Very different conversation in the NFC North right now. I mean, the Packers are still 8-3. The Minnesota's still 5-5. It's an uphill battle here. So I don't see the Packers dropping this division, as much as I hate to say that. I'm really going to have, Minnesota's still going to have to prove it to me. This was a big win, but it feels like, hold on, I need to look at their schedule, see who they play next week. Because that could be, okay, they play the 49ers. The 49ers look really good.
The 49ers
right now,
have
too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you look at the Viking schedule, 49ers, Lions, Steelers, Bears, Rams, Packers, Bears. So they're probably going to beat the Bears twice. They'll probably beat the Lions. Well, that would give them 8 wins. So they're going to have to do better than that. They're going to have to steal a couple games. They could probably beat the Steelers. They could probably when they play the Rams and the Packers again, that'll be very interesting. But as far as what this, I don't see anybody catching the Packers in the North. I just don't see it. They're too good. It fucking pains me to say that. They're good. Their defense is actually pretty good this year too. What the additions they've been able to make have been pretty incredible. And their secondary, with Stokes, Adrian Amos back there, King as well. They just have some ball hawks. And obviously when you have a pissed off Aaron Rodgers, that's always something that you would like on your team, and your teams you play against hate to see. So I don't know. I mean, it was a great win for Minnesota. I still do think they could sneak into the playoffs as a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just so good offensively. I just question Minnesota's secondary. I know what they did this offseason and was bringing a lot of guys on the defensive line to really shore up that pass rush, but you got to have guys in the back end that can cover as well. So we will see what happens, but Packers, don't be too worried about it. It was a great game. It was a fun game to watch. Obviously it stings because it's a rivalry. Minnesota, you're feeling pretty good about yourselves, but you got to start going on a streak here.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's stay within the North then, since we're on the topic. And I know Andy's been so excited to discuss this, and I I love having Andy on to talk about the Bears, because the Bears, I feel it. I feel the same way, because we are at the same in terms of our teams, like record wise. But this Bears team has been so strange, because sometimes they show these glimpses of hope and I'm like, oh wow, they're actually doing fairly well, and then it's just not good. So the main thing here is that Justin Fields went out with a rib injury that I saw a couple hours ago was still like under investigation or something. Like they're still trying to figure out what's wrong with him. And Dalton came to the game. First thing that he did was throw a touchdown. So as a Bears fan, how are you feeling about this quarterback situation? Are you feeling Dalton again? Are you feeling Fields? Do you want to say screw both these guys and put in Nick Foles and go to the Super Bowl? What are you feeling? Lots of emotions, I'm sure.
So first of all, Matt Nagy with the ultimate troll job of all Bears fans. First 2 plays Andy Dalton gets in as a play action pass to the tight end, which we've been trying to get him to call for Justin Fields, and then a quick screen pass that goes for a touchdown. 2 plays that apparently Justin can't run. Dalton was, he had the 2 touchdown passes. He goes for 201 yards, but it was broken coverage on the Marquise Goodwin play that he just got behind the defense that was on a 4th and 11. That was pure luck. And then the screen pass was pretty much all Darnell Mooney just being a freak. He was still 11 for 23. Like, he wasn't good. He was all over the place. Justin Fields wasn't great either. He was 4 for 11 for 79 yards. And like you said, he goes down with that rib injury, which Nagy tries to be cryptic and think he's super, playing with people's heads and being all smart by not telling people what's going on, which I get it. I guess you're trying to keep the Lions guessing, but the Lions will probably fucking beat the Bears on Thanksgiving. It doesn't even matter who's back there. I have been saying it all year. I want Justin Fields out there because it really doesn't matter. We suck either way. If we put Andy Dalton out there, it's not going to put us over any kind of hump. We're not going to be any better. That doesn't push us into the playoffs. Let's go out there, let the rookie learn and see what he's got. Let's just learn on the fly. I am of the belief that he is going to learn a lot more and a lot quicker how to be a good quarterback in this league if he gets the opportunity to play quarterback in this league and not sit and watch a guy that's going to throw screen passes and, 8-yard slants on 90% of his plays. They did let him open it up a little bit. He did have some deep throws, which also the play calling just makes zero sense. We've got a 3rd and 5 from the Ravens, 20-yard line, which we on the opening drive, we probably need to get this. And we go a pitch play 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage and David Montgomery gets stuffed. And then on 4th and 1 from the 49, we go wildcat straight to Montgomery and he runs right into the line. Nobody's fooled by the fucking wildcat anymore. It doesn't work. The play calling doesn't make any sense on that. I love going for it, but let's do something that has a chance to work. And if we're not, punt it and pin the first time starting quarterback, undrafted 2nd-year player deep and see what make him work. The defense didn't play terrible, of course, until we absolutely needed them to not play terrible. Giving up that big play to Sammy Watkins, but quarterbacks, it sucks because in this game, we're going to have more people now calling for Andy Dalton because Fields didn't look good after looking amazing 2 weeks ago against the Steelers. Mm-hmm. When he goes for 291 yards and they let him use his legs and but this is the 2nd loss in a row where they had the lead with under 2 minutes left and they blew it. It's getting inexcusable at this point. I don't know how Matt Nagy still has a job, how Ryan Pace, the GM, still has a job. You cannot keep losing these games that are right in front of you for the taking. It comes down to coaching. It comes down to the culture. It comes down to, these players do have to execute, but when you're set up to fail, what are you supposed to do? I genuinely believe he's setting his players up to fail. Also, we do have to look at the defensive side of the ball. No Akeem Hicks in the middle. No Khalil Mack for the rest of the year. Who else would they miss? Somebody else on the defensive side of the ball. Even just those two guys right there. Though that's right. Your entire defensive front almost. I do have to shout out Robert Quinn. I talked so much shit about him last year. He is having an insane year. I think he's up to 8.5 sacks. He had, I think, two or 2.5 on Sunday. He was great. He's filling in well. But you're also missing Allen Robinson. You're missing Damian Williams in the backfield. Not that he's been super great, but another guy who can take some carries. You mentioned Nick Foles, by the way. Did you see the shots of him on the sideline?
No.
He was inactive today. He's making $6 million this year to do absolutely nothing. He's making $6 million to hang out. They cut to him on the sideline where he just has a pair just not in uniform at all, obviously, because he's inactive. He's got a hoodie on, sweatpants, just chilling, got a beanie and his these big sunglasses on over it, just kind of just talking to everybody, just smiling. It's dude, we're such a joke. We're such a fucking joke. We scored that touchdown and they cut to Virginia McCaskey and she's got no fucking idea where she's at. That's why we still have this front office, because the ownership is so incompetent that they don't even know what's going on. We're just so okay with mediocrity. And like I said, I've said multiple times this year, we're not a good football team. I'm not expecting us to be good, but when you have opportunities in back-to-back weeks to go on the road and beat a Steelers team that, they're not great, but they're not bad. Mm-hmm. 2, be at home against a Ravens team that is without their starting quarterback in a game where you're winning with less than a minute to go. And it's just, we can't keep losing winnable games. But I think our friend Tom Scavetta has said this before when we were talking about the Giants. Bad teams find ways to lose games. And that is what the Bears are. They're a bad team. I still do want to see Justin Fields back there at quarterback. But ribs are so tough. Nagy did say it's like, well, we have to evaluate it as a coaching staff, really talk about it and see how he handles it. So we'll see. I mean, and I'm not going to act like Fields has been like a superstar all year, but also he hasn't had a lot of time in the pocket. His offensive line is like got dudes that like you and I could just pull off the street, Sam. And when we have like the most experienced dude, Jason Peters, is making just the biggest bonehead mistakes out of the whole group, it doesn't make any sense. And, you know, they haven't had their second round draft pick, Tevin Jenkins, all year, who was supposed to be a big factor on the line. Larry from Missouri, Larry Borum, has been pretty good since they've inserted him here. They've been talking about him as a steal, but it's just this 5 straight losses. We're down bad in Bearland right now. There was a fire Nagy chant at the game.
Yep.
While the Bears were winning, by the way, in the fourth quarter. So it's just little inexcusable mistakes that are definitely come down to, you know, coaching and culture, and just, I don't know if it's just not giving a shit or what, but it just, for somebody who is, or who should be as thin of ice as he is, or just on the hot seat like he is, like, there's just no sense of urgency. It's just like, how much longer are we going to have to keep dealing with the same bullshit over and over? And I know this is a rebuilding year. We might as well just keep losing out, get a better draft pick, but we won't be happy, and shit's not going to be fixed until he is no longer the head coach, and until Ryan Pace is no longer the GM of the Chicago Bears. And it's just, there will be I don't know why I do this to myself every Sunday, is I just ride this wave. And I'm just like, especially these past 2 games that they've played, we're just like, oh my God, I think we might actually win this. Like, what? Like, what is going on? Like, Sam, I was sitting on my couch and I was like, I'm going to be on the podcast tomorrow being like, well, I just watched Andy Dalton win a football game. And of course, 2 seconds later, the Ravens scored a touchdown. So that is what I get for even thinking that. You know, Dalton's serviceable. We know what he is. He doesn't make this team any better. Keep Fields out there. Let him keep learning. Fields has got to get rid of the ball faster. There have been a couple times where he held onto the ball, and, you know, he got a fumble forced. There have been a couple times where he held on the ball when he shouldn't have, and now he's hurt. He got hit really hard. There's a couple times he probably should have pitched the ball or thrown a screen pass for a first down when he decided to take off and run. This is all just from Sunday, but overall, I've been pretty happy with him. He doesn't have a lot to work with. I want him out there. I want that connection to be developed with him and Darnell Mooney. We saw what Mooney can do yesterday, 5 receptions for 121 yards and a touchdown. I want him out there, you know, developing that relationship with Colt McCoy as well. And really just look competent, look like we know like what we're doing, like put our players, put the offense, put the defense in a position to succeed. Like, look like we're actually trying to develop this kid and play to his strengths, because that is how you're going to win football games, not whatever they're doing. So I hope he's healthy. I hope he's okay. Obviously the ribs are always tricky. You don't really know, like, again, everybody's different. You know, we don't know. Still up in the air. They haven't told anybody. We don't know how many ribs. We don't know if it's just a cracked rib. We don't know if it's a broken rib. Whatever. But we're not happy. I mean, obviously, or some people will tell you like, yeah, just keep losing. Why does it matter at this point? We'll get the draft pick. But yeah, that's all well and good. But when you have the opportunity to beat the number 1 team in the AFC, like, you're going to tell me like this loss doesn't sting? Like, it just fucking sucks. Like,
no, it does. It does, because it's a winnable game, especially without Lamar there. Like, the Ravens really fall apart without Lamar. And I don't know how they won this game, probably just because of the mistakes that the Bears made. But this was a totally winnable game. And when the second I found out Lamar wasn't playing, I was like, oh, the Bears have a shot then, because the Ravens just absolutely fall apart without Lamar. And that's just how it is. It shouldn't be how a team works, but it's how the Ravens work. But Huntley came in and did what he needed to do, I guess. Because I don't know, the
Bears,
Ravens didn't look good. They did not
no,
look good.
no. I mean, he was 26 for 36, 219 and interception, but it's like they weren't impressive. They weren't impressive. The Bears did have a missed field goal too, which I swear Nagy fucked Cairo Santos's mental up. Like he made him break his streak of 40 straight made field goals with that 65-yarder that he tried to make him kick.
Right.
At
Yes,
Hines,
I remember that.
and he turns around and misses his first field goal of the day yesterday. So there's so many things like we could say that the Bears should have done this, they should have done that. It comes down just certain things that they didn't execute. In my mind, it comes down to play calling and coaching and just a lot of just head scratching, just like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
But I'm still of the belief, start Fields, fire Nagy, fire Pace, and just see what happens the rest of the year. We're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to win anything. Just try to make some games fun, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to give you a platform there to talk about Matt Nagy, but I feel like you hit all the points there. I mean,
yeah, I went off. I don't know whenever like I feel bad sometimes when I go on these shows because people like they ask my opinion on something I really like the Bears, like something I care
You're
too
passionate.
much about. There, I just go off on these like 10-minute tangents where I'm just like, well, and then this shit. But like, oh, did you see also if I'll do a quick little Nagy thing here. Did you see what he said before the game? Like it was like Friday or Saturday.
No.
It was, oh yeah, this losing streak. There's not one. Everybody's to blame.
Oh,
like,
I did see that. I thought that was fake.
No, it's that he said that. It's great leadership, Matt.
Oh my God, I thought that was NFL memes. That was real?
I'm pretty sure it was real.
Oh my God, that is the worst thing you could ever say.
It's everybody's fault. It's not just one person. It's everybody's fault. Let's not take no ownership of anything. No ownership of any of his mistakes. It's never his fault. I mean, we're all fucking done with him. Like I said, fire Nagy, but it's just,
my God.
Also the headset thing? Like he goes out to punt, like he sends out the punting unit and then people start to boo him. So there's no way your fucking headset wasn't working. So get over here. It's not working. Bullshit. You heard the boos and you're like, oh. And then, of course, they don't get the fourth down. That's when he sends out the Wildcat formation. It's just, he's gross. He's just fucking gross. He's an idiot. He's a bum. He's a chump. He's a fucking loser. The Bears will never be anything while he is the head coach. He is just fucking gross.
Yeah, I would agree. He was like, in the beginning of this year, my brother asked me if there's one coach that you think is going to 100% get fired before the season even starts, like before you see anything. I'm like, Matt Nagy, because he was supposed to be gone last year and it didn't happen. And something keeps holding him on. Like there's a string that he's holding on for dear life. But also, if Justin Fields continues the rest of the season and does really, really well, Matt Nagy will continue to have a job. That's what's going to happen.
Well,
they're gonna be like, oh, he did it. He did good with him. He's fine.
So that was like the silver lining of the Steelers loss, as much of a ref show as that was. And I know your brother was probably happy about that win, but
right.
That's all I can say. But that's the argument. It's like, okay, Justin Fields balled out and we still lost. So that's like the knock. So it's like sucks we lost, but like the silver lining is, okay, they should see that Fields play all this well, but maybe it's still, the coaching. We're still losing games. So hopefully, I mean, there's no way he can go under 500 this year and still have a job. I just don't understand, but crazier things have happened. And
it's true.
I mean, the fucking the Bears fired Lovie Smith when he went, I think 10-6 was his last year. He went 10-6 and that apparently wasn't good enough. So what the hell is this? That's all I had. That's all I.
Somebody's priorities are not in alignment, and they need to figure that out.
The Lovey thing, it was like it kind of was time to move on, but it's like and that is the NFL, but it's like.
But still, to keep Matt Nagy this long when he should have been gone last year, like it's crazy. But regardless of the fact, I appreciate your Bears rants, even if they are long, because they're very informative and I learn more about the Bears. It's like I focus on Aaron Rodgers in the North and then I'm like, oh, right. Andy needs to inform me about the Bears. So
Focus on his
I am
terrible hair.
educated. But anyway, let's go on to the next topic here. And I want to talk about the Panthers and Washington, mostly because I did not realize how many storylines were within this game. Not only was it a Cam Newton versus Ron Rivera show off, like, you know, they came in, obviously Cam's back home. Ron Rivera used to be his coach. Like, I feel like at one point, like, Cam Newton definitely called Ron Rivera dad by accident at some point in time. Like, that's the relationship that they had. Taylor Heineke was also an old Carolina Panther. Like, he was a backup at some point in time. Maybe he backed up Cam Newton for all I know. And then there was some tea. We'll sprinkle in some tea here. Joey Sly, who used to be the kicker on the Panthers, basically won the game for Washington with like back-to-back field goals that won them the game. And he captioned his Instagram picture, "I'm back," which is what Cam Newton said last week. And I was like, that's super petty. And I love that. But what I'd like to talk to you about is, despite this loss, I feel like we saw the old Cam in this game. I mean, he threw a touchdown. He ran in a touchdown. It looked like I was in college again. Like, I was freaking 20 years old watching Cam Newton on the Panthers. Do you think that the Panthers have a chance here with Cam back? I mean, despite this loss, do you think that this is the way for them to go, or should they still be thinking about Sam Darnold in the background there? Like, I feel like it might get a little complicated.
No, I think you ride with Cam Newton the rest of the year. We've seen, you know, in those limited plays that he had in last week against, you know, the Cardinals, he scored 2 touchdowns, scores 2 touchdowns again. He wasn't, obviously they don't win this game. I think we can chalk that up to a really good performance from Taylor Heineke as well. I did bet on the Panthers this week. I was kind of, you know, I thought they'd be riding high. You know, I fully think Cam, you know, he's not going to be, this isn't MVP Cam Newton, right? That he's not fully like back, but we are seeing the best version of Cam Newton that we have seen, you know, since arguably that Super Bowl 50. Right. So I think that they absolutely put themselves in the best opportunity to win football games if he is starting and keeping Sam Darnold as far away from that football field as they can. I mean, yeah, you said it. That touchdown run was like, what, 20 yards away. Super impressive. Yeah. The touchdown pass to McCaffrey was pretty impressive as well. If you look at their schedule, so they play the Dolphins next week. They have to go, they host the Falcons. They do have the Bills. They've got the Bucks, the Saints. Well, they've got the Bucks twice and the Saints once. So if they really want to make it, they have the Dolphins, Falcons must win games.
Sure.
You got to steal one from the Bucks, maybe, which is tough. I don't know, but I still think he gives them the best chance to win. They're 5-6 right now. I can see them after the next, like, they've got to take care of business. But if everything goes right, they probably go into that Bills game at 7-6 with an opportunity in the wild card. They're not going to win the division, but that wild card in the NFC is wide open right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. But I would agree with you. I feel like the wild card spot is definitely in their favor, especially if we continue to see this Cam. If we continue to see, you know, how he was, you know, back in like 2016 Cam. It's crazy because he is, what, 32 now? 31 or 32? Like, you don't really see these older guys taking off, but that's where his strengths lie, and that's what he's good at.
I think he's just really playing with a chip on his shoulder too after the whole, you know, Patriots situation, and I think he just kind of wanted to prove that he could still play. You know what I mean? That it wasn't, because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I think he's washed up, he's cooked or whatever." Which, yeah, sure, he's, like you just mentioned, he's not in the prime of his career, but there's something to be said about him being like, okay, like, watch me, like I can still be out here, I still belong here.
Yeah, definitely. And again, like, he is home. He's very comfortable with this team, and he's with his pal Christian McCaffrey, and Robbie Anderson seems to be so excited that he's there. Meanwhile, Sam Darnold was literally his quarterback on a different team at another point in time, and that he like literally looked so happy with Cam there. It was outrageous, but he's comfortable there, and the fans are so stoked that he's back that it seems like everything's falling into place for Cam Newton. But did you see this whole Resurrection Day thing? I did not know anything about this. Did you hear about that? Basically, like years ago, when Cam Newton was in college at the University of Florida, before he was even at Auburn, he stole somebody's laptop and threw it out a window, and he got arrested.
Oh yeah, that's
And
why I had to leave Florida. Yeah.
and then he went to Auburn. And like this is like it happened November 21st, which was Sunday, and it's like he like celebrates that day as like a holiday for himself. It's called his Resurrection Day. And I'm like, sir, you tossed a man's laptop out a window. Should you be celebrating that? I don't know. But I just thought that was a very strange story.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's funny. So I knew, yeah, he had that whole computer thing and then had to go to community college and then got paid to go to Auburn and
Yeah.
had one of the greatest college seasons of all time. But that's funny that he still celebrates that. That's definitely a very Cam Newton thing to do. And he probably writes it in that font that he uses with all the
in the Cam Newton font. Yeah, he's just like, oh yeah, today is the day that I got arrested. It's my Resurrection Day. I'm like, all right, Cam. This is the most Cam Newton thing, though. I mean, it's so on brand. It's
Remember
just
where he came from.
I guess so. I mean, maybe if he never did that, he never ends up in the NFL. Who knows? But regardless of the fact, I would say that we agree on the fact that Cam is here. He's the best thing for the Panthers right now, at least, and he's going to do what he needs to do for them and possibly get them into the playoffs, which I feel would be really awesome for them. Next thing on the list here is something that made me feel like the universe has finally set itself back into alignment, and it was the Cowboys losing so bad to the Chiefs. Everything, I was like, this was the Chiefs that we were expecting the entire year. This was the Cowboys I was hoping for this entire year, and they came together, and it was just great for me. I absolutely loved it. But the Chiefs have obviously been on a major decline these past few weeks. I mean, the Giants almost beat them on Monday Night Football, and I think that should be very telling. But their defense, it was very defensive, though. I mean, Cowboys defense has stepped up insanely. Micah Parsons is an absolute not a human. Chiefs defense has definitely stepped up with Spags as their DC here. They got Clark, Jones, Matthew, Clyde Edwards-Helaire came back as their running back. It seems like things were kind of finally coming into place for the Chiefs, and maybe this was the game they needed to kind of go back on the incline. What do you think?
Yeah, so everybody's been talking about the Chiefs all year. It's like, oh, are they done? Are they done? Is the dynasty over? They've been having these weird losses. Yeah, and it's been mostly the talk of, their defense fucking sucks and what's wrong with Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
They leaned on their defense to win this game. You had Chris Jones with 3.5 sacks and, a forcing a fumble. He recovers it. Charvarius Ward, L'Jarius Sneed, both pick off Dak Prescott. In this game, it was weird. We're seeing one of the worst defenses statistically in the NFL going up against like the number one offense. And, the Cowboys came into this game very confident that they could do what they do, and that's run the ball. Dak get the ball to his playmakers in Cooper, and I think Gallup is even back. Dalton Schultz ended up being their leading receiver in this game, but the Chiefs are back. You have to feel very good if you're in Chiefs Kingdom. Unfortunately, I just feel like it's two very annoying fan bases going up against each other in this game. But the Cowboys, I don't know. Everybody was talking about how they're legit. They're Super Bowl contenders, which I was never super sold on that. I just think but they are playing pretty damn well so far. This was kind of the first game besides, I guess a couple of weeks ago against the Broncos where they really just looked super out of sync. They just really got nothing going. And the Chiefs, I feel like it was, for me, at least the Chiefs, it was just only a matter of time before they just started figuring shit out, right? Because they've just been so good, and it's weird to watch a Chiefs game and to think like, oh, okay, they're just going to score in like this, like they can just do whatever they want, and for it to just not happen, right? And Patrick Mahomes to have the struggles he did, I kind of feel like, maybe, they just need to start barring Jackson Mahomes from the stadium and they will start playing a lot better. I think maybe he is the problem here. Those awfully cringy TikToks. But no, I think the Chiefs are back, and I think you have to be feeling really good if you're the Chiefs. This is kind of a statement win for them, and I want to say a statement because they didn't do it by scoring a shitload of points. They did it by their defense and Spags, really putting his nuts on the table, saying, "Hey, we're better than people give us credit for. Let's start playing like it." And they are going to need their defense to keep doing that the rest of the season. But if you look at the Chiefs offensively, I guess they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire back. People have been talking about, the offensive line that they invested a lot of money into, but they did have some injuries, kind of had to, put together at the last second. Maybe they're finally getting to figure it out. They really need, in my opinion, a solid number 2 receiver besides Tyreek Hill. Obviously they have Travis Kelce, but they need a guy like out wide. They need a solid number 2. I mean, Pringle and Hardman, they're okay, but I don't know.
I think Pringle actually did show up for this game, though. I think he did fairly well. I mean, Tyreek Hill wasn't even on my radar. I feel like Byron Pringle kind of was like, I'm here, but I would agree. I don't know if there actually is, I don't know if he is that guy or if he just had a good game.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're the Chiefs. The past 3-4 years we've known what they are, and just the start of the season kind of just felt like weird. It's like, okay, maybe this is over. Have they lost that that touch, that magic? But it certainly feels like they found something in this game against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I would say though that while they did look like their old selves, I don't know if they're making the Super Bowl this year. I really don't. I feel like it's so competitive. If they don't. I just don't see it happening that many years in a row, especially after struggling so much this season with numerous amounts of things and injuries and so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, Cowboys fans every year talk about how this is the year. This is the year that they're doing it. And it never is. It's never the year. And yes, Dak Prescott looked absolutely great this year. Yes. Have I been scared of the Cowboys this year? Absolutely. But they're not going to the Super Bowl. If they do, God, strike me with lightning. I'll just pass away on the spot I don't care. But plus I would not want to see Dallas in the Super Bowl anyway. So, but Dak did not look good in this game. He didn't even throw a touchdown. He got picked off twice. Again, the alignment was there for me. I was so happy to see the Cowboys finally kind of fall apart for a moment, and just that just makes me feel good. But I was very, very impressed with the Chiefs, and I hope that they continue on. I like the Chiefs. I don't think that they're a bad team, but we'll see what happens. Next thing here though is the fact that I think Colt McCoy is the best backup quarterback in the National Football League. And I feel like there's nothing that's going to change my mind here, because the Cardinals are absolutely winning their division and they are the best team. I'm just going to make that a statement. That's not an opinion. That's a fact.
Okay. I mean, I don't disagree with you. Colt McCoy, what is this, the second time in 2 years or 3 years that he went into Seattle and got a victory as a backup?
He did it for the Giants last year.
Yeah, exactly. So second time in 2 years. Seattle fans have to be shaking in their boots. But yeah, I can't disagree with you. I said it a couple weeks ago. Who'd they beat? Who else did he beat a couple weeks ago?
I know that they lost last week, but Colt McCoy wasn't playing.
Yeah, he got hurt and Stribler came in.
Stribler, yeah.
Chris Stribler, Canadian Football League legend. Why am I blanking on this? Because Ryan bet on it, and I said the Colt McCoy game.
Oh, they beat the 49ers.
The 49ers, yeah. So I said the Colt McCoy game. We get 2 Colt McCoy games in 1 year. We need to remember this moment. Divine intervention. But yeah, the Cardinals are a force to be reckoned with, especially if you look at who they were missing. Obviously, Kyler is out for, I think that was the 3rd week in a row he's missed. DeAndre Hopkins didn't play as well. I think AJ Green was back, but
Yeah.
You just have to be impressed with what they do. And I'm a guy that I want to talk about just quickly is James Conner and kind of the resurgence he's had really
Oh, yeah.
down in Arizona. And just all he seems to do is score touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're actually going up against each other in fantasy this week. I had James Conner in my flex position, and he gave me like 20-something points. And I was like, thanks, James. Appreciate
you got like
that.
40 from Austin Eckler too to keep you in
the
game.
Did.
So
I almost took him out too, and I didn't. But
and I had, I think, 20 from Freeman on my bench, which I'm kicking myself. But you have one left, and I'm up by like 20 points or something like that. So
I have two. I have two left.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, you might beat me. You might.
I have Fournette and Gronk.
I think that's actually why you brought me on the show, just to gloat about how you're going to beat me in fantasy.
Hey! You beat me earlier this year. Yeah. So this is my resurrection day.
There you go. Call back.
But either way, I would say, I mean, I have been on the Cardinals train for at least a year.
Like all year, you've said they're the best team. You and Jordan have been all over them.
Jordan and I have been talking about it. Nobody wanted to believe us. And we were actually in a show together once, and one of the guests on the show was like, oh yeah, well, like who would have thought that the Cardinals were going to be good? And we both sat there and looked at each other and we were like, us. We both said it. Like it. But Colt McCoy is just a phenomenal backup. And I feel like if he started in the NFL, it'd be like a Nick Foles situation where it just wouldn't work out. I think he's just phenomenal at coming in and getting what he needs to get done, and then going back to the bench once the starter comes back in. He did that for the Giants, and he's doing it for the Cardinals.
Some guys are just good backups. You pick your spots and you take that clipboard back when you're asked to. So yeah, good for him. I mean, one of the most electric college quarterbacks of all time. I remember watching him at Texas. Him and Jordan Shipley were just such a fun combo to watch, quarterback and receiver. But yeah, I mean, hats off to him, and hats off to Cliff Kingsbury as well. You know, a lot of people questioning that hire when that went down, and you know, was he really the man for that job? Is he an NFL head coach? And I think with this team, he's proving really what he's made of this year, and they are in the driver's seat in that division, one of the favorites to go to the Super Bowl out of the NFC, and I hope they do. Honestly, I
would love that.
Would not mind rooting for the Cardinals in the postseason this year
for sure. And I also just want to say, I meant to mention it before when you were on your Bears rant, but I would just love to, when I grow up, I want to be Nick Foles. I just want to sit on a bench in sweatpants and sunglasses.
He's worth like $50 million, probably more than that. And
have a statue for you somewhere in the world. Have a Super Bowl ring. But now you just sit on a bench and you get paid for it. Like,
I'll see if I can find the picture of him just like chilling and send it to you, because it was just like, dude,
that is the life.
You can't even blame him. It's like, well, we're just dumb for just paying him or not trying to get anything out of him. But then again, like who's going to take him off our hands? He
beat Tom Brady on that Thursday night football game for you guys. What was that, 2 years ago or last year?
Oh yeah,
it was last year.
Great.
I mean, he did that for you.
Sure, but what have you done for me lately, and why are you still on my roster when we have two serviceable quarterbacks? Also, Matt Nagy, without Mitchell Trubisky as his starting quarterback, is 6-14 all time. So I'm gonna throw that out there.
Can I just say something really quick? When I was at the Bills Jets game, I was convinced they benched Josh towards the end. Obviously, I was like, I've been robbed of a Mitch Trubisky like live viewing, because they put in Davis Webb, and I was like, wait a second, where's Mitch Trubisky?
Because it was that big of a blowout. That's funny.
I was robbed of that experience. I was so mad.
Sean McDermott should be ashamed of himself. That's all I have to say.
I literally, like, everybody had left at that point. Jets fans had left. So I literally walked all the way down to the front of the field, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to see Mitch Trubisky in action. And it was Davis Webb. And I was like, God, I was really, really pissed off about it. But regardless, without going on a tangent about it, I was going to talk about Steelers Chargers. But to be quite honest with you, I think the only takeaway here is that Ben Roethlisberger should retire, and that Justin Herbert is elite.
He's awesome, but fuck the Chargers for blowing that cover. You're up by 14. Fucking my dog. I knew
you were going to say something about
that. Dude, he fucking Brew. He's on a 6-game losing streak right now. And, you know, people are giving me shit Oh, he always goes left. I know he always goes left. I got to change up the treats, but we act like he's some Nostradamus, or like he's supposed to or my buddy said, we act like he's Rain Man. No, he's not Rain Man. He's a fucking dog picking a treat. 15-16 against the spread. No, maybe he's 15-17 against the spread now, but we're not doing good in my house. Like we might have to put him outside. I'm just kidding. But no, they were up by almost 7. I thought it was 17, but I think it was 14, and they ended up blowing the lead for what? Because I'm glad they won. The Chargers are another team that just racks my brain because I don't think their defense is very good, but Herbert's so fun. Obviously, you have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler had 4 touchdowns. So yeah, I mean, good. I want to say good win for them, but I felt like it shouldn't have been that close of a game because I feel like they're better than the Steelers, but maybe the Steelers are better than I'm giving them credit for. And maybe I'm still just pissed off at them for all the calls and the bullshit that they got against the Bears 2 weeks ago. But yeah.
I mean, to be fair, even my brother said that was not taunting. And he was like, wow, that was weird. And I don't agree with it. And
you can't even point at people. You can't point at people. That's taunting too.
You can't even have any sort of emotion unless it's, but oh God, we could go off on the taunting situation. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Justin Herbert looked amazing and I love him. And I was like so conflicted because you have him as your quarterback. And I was like, I don't want him to do good because fantasy, but also I'm so proud of him. Well,
he hasn't had a good week in a couple weeks.
He did good. He did good this week. I'm real proud of him. And I even saw a video today where a reporter asked him, so you're lifting weights? And he was like, correct. And then he goes, why does it not look like it? And I was like,
I saw a picture of him, a Chargers fan made, and it's a picture of him from high school. And it's like him holding up a bass and goes, you just lost to the captain of the Sheldon High School fishing team or some shit like that.
Justin Herbert is just, first of all, he's like a walking meme. Second of all, he's just wonderful. But that's really all I took from that Sunday night game. It was towards the end, it was an exciting game to watch, but not too many takeaways. I mean, the Steelers, they need to move on from Ben. And I think that's just the bottom line. There's nothing else for them to do. But to end off our show, we are doing Thanksgiving stuff because it is Thanksgiving week, and we will get to the Thanksgiving games after a few games that I have put together, and I'm very excited to talk to you about this. Thanksgiving this Thursday, I have a little this or that game here where I'm going to give you 2 options. And you're going to give me which one you prefer and like a brief little explanation as to why. And then we have a couple other things. And so, yeah, so we're going to get into that. So Thanksgiving is this or that: turkey or ham?
Oh, I'm a ham boy. Give me ham all day. Ham boys.
Ham boy. Are you a person that does not like turkey? Because some people
I'll eat turkey. I don't mind it. I just prefer ham. I think ham's usually juicier. It's got more flavor. It's not as dry. I know you can throw some gravy on the turkey, but I just prefer ham. Okay, I don't dislike turkey. I just prefer ham.
If you had to go with turkey, dark meat or white meat?
White.
White meat, yeah, agreed. Everybody says the dark meat's better, but I don't know. I go with the white meat too. All right. Stuffing or mac and cheese?
Mac and cheese.
Yes. Okay. I am in, I think, a very small minority of people that I don't like stuffing.
And it's not like I love mac and cheese, but I'd rather have mac and cheese than stuffing.
I don't think I like stuffing, which is,
yeah.
I don't know.
Not a stuffing guy.
It's like bread. I don't know. It's
breadcrumb. What's it? Breadcrumbs, onions, celery, like carrots or some shit like that.
Everybody's just like, yes, stuffing. You know, I feel like I'm gonna get hate comments about it, but I don't know if I don't really eat it. But mac and cheese, for sure, I'm on the same side as you. Sweet potato or mashed potatoes?
Mashed potatoes.
I don't know how people eat marshmallows and potatoes.
No, it's so gross. I don't mind a sweet potato fry. Sweet potato fries aren't bad, but I mean, I'd rather have a regular fry.
Yeah, same. I'm not big on any really sweet potato anything. I would prefer regular potatoes. And I am in charge. I'm the person in charge of mashed potatoes at my house. So it is the best thing on the menu. All right, a little dessert here. Pumpkin pie or apple pie?
Apple pie.
Apple pie. Do you like pumpkin pie?
No.
You don't like pumpkin?
Mm-mm.
You need to leave.
All right.
No,
Abrupt way to end the interview, but thanks for having me. Jesus Christ.
no, you don't like pumpkin.
I'm not a pumpkin guy. No, I don't like the texture. I just don't get it. And honestly, my favorite pie is like a chocolate eclair, like chocolate mousse pie.
Ooh.
Which is I think is the best kind. I know it's basically just fucking chocolate, but yeah, that's my favorite. I don't know. My grandpa loves pumpkin pie. That's always what I think about when I think of pumpkin pie is him putting a big ass fucking thing of whipped cream on his pumpkin pie. But yeah, I'll go apple for the sake of argument.
Okay, that's fine. I forgive you. I got into an argument last week with Fonz DeFalco about pumpkin spice lattes because he said he never had one before, and I was like, "It is time for you to go and have one." All right. Leftover wise, would you rather make a turkey sandwich or would you rather have a shepherd's pie?
I think I just go sandwich, just classic turkey Sam. I think that's easy. I'm not going to go through the process of making a shepherd's pie.
Okay, wait. Okay, what if you didn't have to make it? What if it was just offered in front of you? Like, here's a sandwich or here's a shepherd's pie.
Oh.
You don't have to make it. It's just going to get handed to you and you're going to eat it.
Oh.
Does it stay the same?
I think I still just go sandwich. I'm a sandwich guy. I like a good sandwich.
All right. Do you put like cranberry and stuff on it?
I'm not a cranberry guy.
Didn't think you were. Didn't think you were. I don't like cranberry.
Cranberry guy. No, I don't. That's something I don't understand is why people like just mushy cranberry.
Mushy fruit.
I don't understand that shit.
No, me neither. All right. Last one here is not food related, but Thanksgiving related. Black Friday or Cyber Monday?
Oh, Cyber Monday, dude. Fuck that. I'm not I've gone Black Friday shopping a couple times. I know when like I was younger, like my mom and my grandma and my aunts would be like big into like going out and we would go with them a couple times, but you know, I don't want to get up early and wait in line and deal with the crowds and everything. I'd rather just wake up on Monday at whenever I get up and then click. Then I have it on the way. God, definitely. That's absolute nightmare thinking about all the Christmas presents I have to buy this year.
I've never been Black Friday shopping in my life because it's terrifying to me. And when we were kids, I don't know if you remember like that, those people that died at Walmart from getting like trampled. Ever since then, I was like, nope. The Black Friday equals death to me now. So I'm like, nope, not doing it. Cyber Monday forever.
The last time I went, I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school, maybe. Like, and it was very, very, very long ago.
Yeah. What is your go-to Thanksgiving plate? What do you serve yourself on Thanksgiving?
So I'm pretty basic. I just I want some ham. I'll probably have ham and turkey, to be honest. I need a couple rolls. I need some mashed potatoes, a little bit of gravy. I'm not huge on gravy, but I will have a little bit. Mac and cheese if we have it. My family's weird. We're like, my grandpa's super Italian, so he'll make spaghetti.
Yes!
So I will also, almost every Thanksgiving I have spaghetti as well, which everybody's gonna think is so weird, but it's really basic. What I love to do, I want rolls, I want the meat, and I want some mashed potatoes. I'm gonna put it all together on a little sandwich, and that is what I'm gonna feast on.
I was gonna ask you what weird thing in your family that you did for Thanksgiving. Was it spaghetti?
Spaghetti, yes. It's like it makes no sense. It goes with none of the fucking items we have, but we got our famous spaghetti recipe in the sauce. So yeah,
I love that. For a very long time, we had lasagna. So
I love that too. I'd fuck up some lasagna. Like it's because like I like Thanksgiving food, but it's like, so we just did our first Friendsgiving on Saturday. So that's like, depending on how many fucking events you have to go to, it's like you're eating the same shit.
Right.
Like all this, like for 3 or 4 days in a row. So yeah, I don't mind having the nice little plate of spaghetti to mix in with my ham and my turkey.
Switch it up a little bit. Switch it up.
Yeah, no, that's our weird thing. But I mean,
love that.
We'll see how many beers I drink and watch the Lions beat the Bears.
That's early on in the day too. That's 12:30 game. 11:30 for you.
Yeah, so I have to drive about an hour and 15, hour and a half away from here. So I'm going from Champaign to Springfield, Illinois. That's like where the event is. So we're gonna have to get up early then. I didn't realize they played so early. God damn it. Okay, well, yeah.
Well, I always say that our weird, apart from we used to have lasagna. Now we don't really get lasagna that much anymore. But it's only me, my brother, and my 3 cousins. So, but the oldest one is now 31, and we still have a kids table. So that's our weird thing. One year they incorporated us into the adult table, and it was like horrible. It was just the worst ever. There was like regular conversation and politics and just current events, and I was like, what the heck is this? This isn't no. So we have our kids table. Youngest one is 24, almost 25. So that's our age range.
Yeah, so we'll probably have I don't remember if they do like a full kids table. We're kind of just like, yeah, we're kind of all at one big table, but usually everybody's at like, you have your little cliques or whatever. But like 4 or 5 years ago, me and my cousin, we got high before Thanksgiving, and like my mom took like one look at me and like knew that I was like stoned off my ass. We were just like, that was when it like was like got super big on, social media. It was like, oh, go take a walk before the meal or whatever. It's like, yeah, me and my cousin are both little fucking delinquents, and we had never, smoked together or whatever. So we're like, we do it in his room, first of all, which was our first mistake. So it's like the whole rest of the house like smells like Thanksgiving food, and then his room just like reeks. And like, so we walk down there thinking we're like all hot shit. And then of course my mom like comes over and talks to me, and then immediately like alerts like the entire fucking Thanksgiving party that we're both like stoned. So that is just talk about nightmare situation. Just being
my
I'm
God.
just trying to fucking like, I just wanted my food to taste a little better. God damn it. Like, we're okay. Oh shit.
Just trying to make it a more enjoyable experience. God. Mm-hmm. That's so funny. That's hilarious. Well,
so then it's like the next like 2 or 3 Thanksgivings, like if we like went like, because we always have it at my cousin's house, like my aunt's house, and like they've got a basketball hoop and like little court in their backyard. It's like we just go out there to shoot. Like we come back in, it's like, oh, we know what you guys are doing out there. It's like, oh, go fuck yourselves. Like
that's great. I love that. I love that so much. Well, yeah, that's I'm glad that other people have Italian food on Thanksgiving. That makes
I love
me
it.
feel...
My Italian food, as my grandpa says.
Yeah, I mean, like to like be completely honest, I mean, like I don't have turkey any other day of the year.
No, I don't ever fucking eat turkey. Like it's
unless it's like a cold cut sandwich, which even then I don't really eat cold cuts. Turkey, like I don't have turkey cold cut, so I don't know. Turkey is like okay, I'll eat it, but
yeah, it's just like I'm not gonna
go out of my way.
Yeah, like it's like a holiday bird.
Yeah, no, I'm all bad things in terms of turkey. I don't like it. But let's talk about the 3 Thanksgiving games. We'll each give our predictions on it, and then we will wrap up the show. So we'll start with the 12:30 game, which is Bears Lions. What's your feeling?
My feeling is that they're gonna lose. The Bears are gonna lose, but if Tim Boyle is the quarterback, then we might actually have a chance.
That's true.
My advice is take the under, and you probably have something better to do on Thanksgiving than watch this football game. But predictions, I guess it's hard for me to say what I want to see because I don't know who's going to be at quarterback. If Fields is back there, I want to see him moving out of the pocket. I want to see rollouts. I want to see play action. I want to see bootlegs. I want to see David Montgomery running off the tackle. Obviously We know what he can do inside. I like to see him run outside a little bit, use a little outside zone concept. I want to see Darnell Mooney get free. If Allen Robinson is playing, I want to see him actually be involved in the offense. Defensively, I want more of Robert Quinn in the backfield. We're going to need Eddie Goldman to step up. Hopefully, Akeem Hicks is available. In the secondary, somebody besides Jalen Johnson is going to have to be worth a shit. No Eddie Jackson. He was the one I was forgetting didn't play on Sunday. So I don't know if he'll be back. Not that he's been like spectacular this year. Just play a full 40-minute or however long play a full 4 quarters. That is what I want to see from the Chicago Bears. Or you might actually lose to the Lions, who gave the Browns a game. They tied the Steelers.
You're giving a lot of people games.
They're frisky. So that's the point. If they are a frisky enough team that the Bears could lose to them. And what a way to spend your Thanksgiving. That's my prediction. Very winnable game for the Bears that they should win. Doesn't mean that they're going to, though.
Hide your kneecaps. Might happen. But no, I'm pretty sure Jared Goff is not playing. So just for that reason alone, I mean, Jared Goff is not the best quarterback, but I would say that the Bears should take advantage of that. An interesting thing that I've discovered is that every team playing on Thanksgiving is coming off a loss. So all 6 teams lost today. Or why do I keep saying today? Today is Monday. Sunday. And they're all going into Thanksgiving on a short week with a loss. So that's pretty interesting. But I'm going to go with the Bears. I think the Bears are going to win. I think that if Andy Dalton ends up starting, I think that he will be able to get the job done and do what he needs to do. I would say, depending on whatever state Fields is in, I don't think he should play at all. Like you said before,
I'm not going to be upset if they hold him out. Just short, it's a short week. You want him to
ribs
be
are
fully
tricky.
Healthy. You don't want to risk further injury. So not going to be surprised when we see Andy Dalton. I'm going to be excited if I get to watch Justin Fields on Thanksgiving. But I mean, the Bears have the tools to win this game. It's just a matter of what are they going to fuck up this time.
All right, next game on the list here is Raiders versus Cowboys. This is kind of interesting. What are your thoughts?
I think I have to take the Cowboys. I think they're a better team than the Raiders, and I like the Raiders this year. There's just been a couple times this year, I think especially the past 2 weeks, where I was, expecting a little more out of them, and they really have, not lived up to those expectations. I know their defense isn't the best. They're a little rough. We all know about, all the first round picks that they have, not necessarily hit on. And by that, I mean, a lot of those guys from the past couple of years are no longer on the team, no longer with the franchise. That's hard to, overcome sometimes when these guys that you have these development plans for, these guys that you take with such high draft picks last a year and a half, 2 years with your team. I think the Cowboys are still a good football team. I think they just kind of ran into a Chiefs team that had a chip on their shoulder and was looking to prove a lot of people wrong. So I'm going to take the Cowboys here because I think it's at home. I think they win this game.
I originally was going to pick the Cowboys mostly because of the loss and the home, but I don't know if Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb is playing, which are two.
I never check the injury reports. That always fucks me over.
I think that I'm just going off of something. Like, I feel like I saw a tweet earlier today that said that, and then I just roll with it. I never actually fact check anything, so that should just go to show. But also, just in terms of the Cowboys' performance against the Chiefs, the Raiders are in desperate need of a win, and I feel like if any
Three dogs run faster.
Yeah, and I just feel like they did so well, and then all of a sudden they like literally fell off a cliff and just were not performing at all. I mean, the Giants beat I feel like I always go back to like the teams that the Giants have beaten or have almost beaten, but the Raiders lost to the Giants, which is like a pretty hard blow, and they've just been kind of on the decline. But I'm gonna give it to the Raiders here. But it is hard to go into Jerry's world on Thanksgiving. It is hard, but I don't know. I'm feeling it. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys won. And the last game on the list here is Bills versus Saints at New Orleans. So, what are you feeling?
get right game for the Bills. I don't want to say it's a must-win game, but kind of feels like they need to prove a lot of people wrong. Kind of feels like they need to prove to themselves that they're still a good football team and that they can stop anybody. I don't know if Alvin Kamara will be back for the Saints.
I don't think so.
If not, I love the Bills. I mean, the Saints just gave up how many points to the Eagles this past week? I know what they're usually known as, a pretty good defensive team. Obviously, no Michael Thomas for the rest of the year offensively. Named Alvin Kamara not playing this game. You have the fourth Manning brother, Trevor Siemian, at quarterback.
Fourth Manning.
Have you seen that? Everybody says he looks like a Manning, and somebody asked him that in the press conferences. He said he's heard it before. He's like, so he'll take it. And then Eli actually quoted it on Twitter and said, "Looking good, bro," or some shit like that. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Bills here. I mean, I love the Bills, like you love the Bills. You know, they're one of a team I have a soft spot for. I've always been a Josh Allen guy, but you know, they're gonna have to start winning these games that they're supposed to win. You know, we only got 7 weeks left of the NFL, which I hate to even bring that up, but it's
my God.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
It's more than half over, which it sucks, but I'm going to take the Bills for this prime time Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think Alvin Kamara is playing. And while Trevor Siemian has, or Trevor Manning, whatever we want to he's kind of been holding his own and doing his thing, but he's not an all-star winning quarterback. And despite being at home, the Bills, again, they seem to come back pretty hard off of a loss, especially when it's a tough loss. So I'm going to go with the Bills here as well. I don't know. I don't think that the Saints have it, especially with an angry Bills team. I just realized I picked all the away teams for these games. So that's interesting. But
so for anybody that watches this show that makes picks or bets or whatever on the NFL, that bets on the spreads, away underdogs, so teams that are on the road and not favored to win, are have been hitting at 62% of the time, which is insane this year. If we look at what happened this past week, so the Colts were +7. They won outright. They covered. The Lions were +11.5. They covered. The Texans were +10. They won outright. Washington was +3.5. They won outright.
Wow.
The Cardinals ended up being, I don't know if that count. They ended up being underdogs before.
Why are the Cardinals?
That's 5. That's they all either covered or won. That's I'm just gonna start betting on away underdogs every week, which I can't believe it took me until week 11 to start even figuring this trend out.
I don't understand why the Cardinals keep getting put as the underdogs. They literally have the best.
Yeah, it's because Murray's out and AJ Green and Hopkins. That's why.
Well, I don't. They should.
Yeah, I mean,
reevaluate that. I'm gonna call Vegas.
Take the plus money and run away with it.
I'm gonna call up Las Vegas myself. And
I'm going to start setting the lines for these Cardinals games. Okay?
I know nothing about betting. I'm going to start doing.
We're just picking up capping games just out of nowhere. That's incredible.
All right. So that is everything that we were going to discuss today. As always, Andy, thank you so much for coming on The Girl Who Talks Sports. You are always welcome here. Before we go, why don't you plug your stuff one more time?
One more time. I'll try to keep it as quick as possible. So thank you, as always, Sam, for having me. This is so fun. I always love talking to you, whether it's on my show, your show, on our draft special, which I can't wait to do that again this year. That was so fun. Love fun. It. But anyway, follow the Brew Party. So my schedule is pretty crazy right now. When I have time, I do an interview during the week, and then Maloney's Moneyline, our weekly gambling segment, every Friday. But just follow us on social media. We're at the Brew Party on Facebook. We're at the Brew Party on Twitter and Instagram. We're at the Brew Party Podcast on Facebook, youtube.com/the Brew Party. Throw us a subscription there. Would love to have you join the party. Hot takes, gambling picks, interviews, not taking myself too seriously, talking about, usually It's a new topic almost every week. A lot of the times it's NFL with the NBA coming up. Well, not coming up, with the NBA in full swing, college basketball. It's kind of back. I'll be trying to get more stuff like that, but just hot sports topics is what I try to cover. And then we pick games for the weekend and try not to lose them all. We went even this weekend, even 8-8. But anyway,
Nice.
Other than that, From the Stands College Football every Friday on Facebook and YouTube at From the Stands College Sports, and then Edging the Truth wherever you get your podcasts, or edgingthetruth.com. You can go or follow us on all social media at Edging the Truth, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Trying to build that up. 2 episodes in, episode 3 coming out on Friday the 26th, I believe. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got to plug. Andy Hopper. Follow me on regular Twitter at ahop23 if you want to hear me or see me live tweet Bears games or whatever I'm gambling. And it's basically just a lot of just like fuck and shit. And I got to be more clever, I guess. But anyway, thanks, Sam. I always love being on the show.
Yeah, for sure. And for all of you guys out there, you guys know where to find me. Twitter, TGWTS Podcast, Instagram and TikTok at The Girl Who Talks Sports. And of course, all podcasting platforms, please make sure to subscribe. If you are watching on YouTube right now, please make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. It's very helpful for me. And I think that's it. I hope you all have a fun, fantastic sports-filled day. I hope everyone has a fun and safe Thanksgiving this week, and we will be back next week to go over NFL Week 12. Bye!